Hello and welcome to the Culture Swally, a podcast dedicated to Scottish news and pop culture. My name is Nicky and I'm joined as always by the man who I like to refer to as the Lord of Beers. It's Greg. How are you today, Greg?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine. Have you been drinking many beers over the weekend? Just so I can qualify the title I've just bestowed upon you.
I did. I had a few beers yesterday, so I was just kind of noodling in the kitchen all day yesterday, and when I don't have anything to do, I quite enjoy doing a bit of cooking and having a few beers at the same time.
Yeah, there's nothing better, is it? I love that, making a nice, dinner. It takes a while to cook, and you just have a few beers or a bottle of wine whilst you're cooking. There's nothing better than that, is there? I love making a dish that asks for a glass of red wine, and then you just have the rest of the bottle whilst you're cooking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was good, and I listened to a couple of albums that I've not listened to for many a year. They were talking about them, weren't we, in our group chat, but Manson, Attack of the Grey Lantern, and then the Marion album, which I hadn't heard for a very, very, very long time. It's good.
Yeah, it's a wonderful album, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But I was going to ask you something, if this ever happened to you. So you used to live here in Dubai, right? And I'm assuming that the company you worked for shared a building with maybe other businesses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm exactly the same. So the other day I was in the toilet, in the cubicle, because that was the need, and I heard the unmistakable sounds of a guy having a wank a few stalls down. At first I wasn't sure what I was hearing, and then after a couple of moments, it was unquestionable what was going on.
What was it, kind of heavy breathing or grunting? You sure you just wasn't having a massive shit?
There was definitely, don't make me whack my cheek off my teeth to recreate the noise.
Okay.
It was pretty clear that he was having a wank, and I just thought to myself, I remember being a teenager. And when you're a teenager and you've discovered this superpower that all boys have when you're about 12 or 13, it's very difficult to leave yourself alone. But as an adult, I think a bit more self-control.
Yeah, I've never been at work and had that urgent need to go and relieve myself, so to speak. The office I worked in, it was a 40-floor building, but the company I worked for owned the top 2 floors.
Right.
So there was the only people. Well, in fact, that's a lie, because I did discover people were coming up to our floor to have a shit, because I guess our toilets were nicer.
Right.
In fact, there was one. Christ, I remember this right. There was a guy caught in the ladies' toilets taking photos.
Oh my.
And that was a big HR incident. And then, in fact, then they installed code entry onto the toilet. So you had to have the code to put in if you wanted to go and spend a penny. So if you were in urgent need of a wank, then you would have to run and put in your code and then go in and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I'm actually in urgent need of a wank. I remember somebody who is also known to you, who I went to school with, claims that he managed to, through his genes, wank himself off in history when we were about 14 or 15. I didn't sit beside him, thankfully. But he, a guy should share a flat with him.
I know who you're talking about.
I was like, well, how did you manage it? And he said, I just sort of slipped my cock down my trouser leg and then just, subtly rubbed away until I was finished. I was like, that is fucking rank.
Particularly sexy history lesson, or was it just, did he get aroused learning about the war, or
I think
about the
what sort of spurred it was, and we actually mentioned this on the very, very first episode of the Swally, I think, but he was very, very, very keen on a girl in our class. Well, not in our class, in our year, because, she was in a few, we had a few subjects with her. If I remember right, history was one of them. But he, in addition to the romantic gesture, the romantic tribute of wanking himself off in history, sitting a few feet behind her, he also sent her a birthday card into the birthday spot on Grampian television.
I do remember you mentioning that. Actually. That's fucking brilliant. The birthday spot. Fucking wonderful.
Robin Galloway read out his card, I think.
Oh, at least it was Robin Galloway and not Kennedy Thompson. Did you ever get a card read out in the birthday spot, or was that something that you aspired to?
I never ever really watched the birthday spot. I would always turn over to get ready for Neighbours coming on at 5:30, and watch like the end of whatever it was, Blue Peter, or if my mum wasn't in, Grange Hill, Piker Grove or something. But I remember once when I was like 17, a girl from the village that we lived in was in first year, and she used to follow me about a bit and stuff, and she got me I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be a radio station out at Peterhead called Northeast Community Radio, and she got a request on the radio for me and taped it, because they used to do a request show in the evening. I never listened to it. Like the reason I really knew about it is because I used to work in a kennels at the weekend, cleaning out the kennels and stuff, and the woman that owned the kennels used to pipe it through the speakers for the dogs. So I was aware of it, but I never went out my way to listen to it. But apparently they did the request show sort of early evening, and she got me a request, like an Oasis song, and she taped it off the radio when they played it.
Aww.
And gave me the tape. And she was like 12. I was like, come back. I never said that. I had to let her down gently. She just come to the door and everything to see if I was going out and stuff. Well, my mother had to. Mum had to say to her one day, "Look, Greg is far too old for you. Go and call." I just said her name. Shit. Greg is far too old for you. Go and call in a boy your own age.
What was the Oasis song?
I think
remember?
It was "Don't Look Back in Anger," because that was in the charts at the time.
Oh, it's a very appropriate song.
Yeah, I'm not looking back in anger. I'm looking back in fond reminiscence. My mother might look back in anger if I remind her about it.
Say, maybe she was looking back in anger when your mother slammed the door in her face. He's too old for you. We bugger off.
Just
come back in a few years.
Just turn up with presents and stuff, like bars of chocolate and all sorts. It's fucking weird.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Wonder whatever happened to her.
Oh dear, I can imagine. Pretty sure the next object of affection wasn't as gentlemanly as I was.
Okay, right, moving swiftly on. Right, shall we have a look at what's been happening in Scotland over the last couple of weeks?
Cue the jingle.
Hello, this is the Outer Hebrides Broadcasting Corporation, and here is what's been going on in the news.
Okay, Greg. So, sorry, I'm still laughing. Right, what have you seen in the last couple of weeks that has been caught your attention or your affection in Scotland?
Okay. Well, it's been a while since we've had a bit of inexplicable sort of mob violence on the story in the Swally. So I picked this one from the Daily Record. It was on the 30th of January, so just last week. The headline is "Sold Out Jersey Boys Show in Edinburgh Stopped After Fights Break Out in the Audience." So, of course, Jersey Boys is the famous long-running musical about the career of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. It goes on, a sold-out production of the West End musical The Jersey Boys was halted after fights broke out among the audience. Staff at the Edinburgh Playhouse were forced to rush into the auditorium to deal with what appeared to be a full-on fistfight in the balcony about 30 minutes before the hit show was due to finish. Witnesses said the rammy started when two audience members were being rowdy during the performance, which led to complaints from other theatre goers. Staff asked them to calm down, but it exploded into a violent confrontation, with one man appearing to resist and throw punches at the workers. Police were called and the show was halted to allow staff and police time to deal with the incident. It's understood that a second argument also broke out in the stalls, which further delayed the show for about 20 minutes. Jersey Boys, which recounts the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, is one of the musical theatre's most popular shows and has been playing to packed audiences in its 2-week run in Edinburgh. One audience member said, "A man was really loud and annoying people, so staff asked him to calm down, but because he was drunk, he took offence and started throwing punches. It took about 4 ushers to restrain him, and then another fight broke out in the stalls. The curtain came down, and the lights went up. It was a shame to see the Playhouse staff get assaulted like that. A police spokesman said a 51-year-old man and a 54-year-old woman have been arrested and charged in connection with the incident. There was no one available at the Playhouse for comment. So imagine that you are an actor, right? A member of a musical company. It's, you're touring the world with this sell-out, super successful show. You can't wait to go and perform in Edinburgh. You've never been to Scotland. You've only ever seen Edinburgh on the TV. It looks like one of the most beautiful places on earth. You can't wait to go and perform for the Edinburgh audience. And then there's a fucking riot in the audience. I mean, how do you get in a fight at Jersey Boys?
I mean, I could imagine if this was young people, but it's a 51-year-old and a 54-year-old woman that got arrested. I mean, I could see, it's not funny, but there was a story a couple of months ago of N-Dubs were doing like a comeback tour. Uh-huh. And they were playing in Glasgow, and there was a fight broke out. And there's a clip doing the rounds on social media. Talisa is sat at the front of the stage singing, and somebody throws a mobile phone at her, and it hits her on the head. She's only in Glasgow. But I can imagine in an N-Dubs concert, but a production of the Jersey Boys, and there's a full-on fight. I wonder what started it. And for it to be, what do you say? It was 30 minutes before the end of the show. So it's not like did someone get upset and there was an altercation about their favourite Frankie Valli song or something? What the fuck?
I don't know. No idea. I mean, we could fold lots of quips in, the ushers were begging the people to stop. Maybe the guy who started fighting had been advised to walk like a man, and he thought that somebody was perhaps taking issue with his masculinity. And maybe the 54-year-old woman was told big girls don't cry as she was being dragged away by the police.
I'm delighted to hear that you've done a lot of prep for this this episode, Greg. You've obviously been Googling Frankie Valli songs before recording, so I thank you very much for that. Yeah, that's brilliant. I can't even imagine. I don't think I've ever seen a fight in a theatre or anything. Have you? Or?
I've seen people fighting at Tina Park. But not in the not at the stage or anything. Usually in a campsite. Yeah, I can't imagine it.
Yeah, no, I've seen. Yeah, as you say, I've seen fights at concerts and stuff, but I've never seen a fight at a theatre production.
Yeah, don't know.
It's crazy.
Maybe the 51-year-old man and the 54-year-old woman had been on the sherry.
Possibly, yeah. I wonder what set that off. I'd love to know, actually. I'd love to know what set that off and what caused that fight.
That was another Frankie Valli song title that I dropped in there when I mentioned the sherry, but it's maybe one that you've heard before.
Sorry, no, that went over my head. I'm sorry. I didn't give that the credit it deserved.
It's okay.
My apologies for that.
I'm sure the audience will get it.
Yeah, I'm sure we're big in the Frankie Valli demographic.
Yeah. Yep. Do you know Frankie Valli was in the last series of The Sopranos?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets shot in the head in his car in his own driveway. Spoilers. Anyway, that's my first story this week. What's your first Scottish news story?
My first story is from the Scottish Sun this week, Greg, and it's something that I don't think you're going to like because I know you have a bit of a phobia about this. But I love the headline, and the headline is "It's Scary Doll." As in, it's Mary Doll. So a haunted doll has been sent back to Scotland amid claims it terrorised a schoolboy in New Zealand. The hand-painted doll, named Emily, is feared to have been possessed by the lad's Scots-born late grandmother. The disabled woman took the doll with her when she emigrated to Auckland to be with her son's family because she could no longer care for herself. But she hated living overseas and often kicked off in frustration. I don't know how she kicked off if she was in a wheelchair. When she died, Emily was put in a box in the grandson's wardrobe, and it is claimed to have had a harrowing effect on him. He started suffering nightmares and violent episodes in the middle of the night, even punching a hole in his bedroom wall. When the doll was moved to the garage, the boy fainted and kept banging his head off a chair. His mum, who did not want to be named, said, "The doll scares the family." We all agreed she was acting the same as his grandmother.
Who was acting the same? The wee boy was acting the same.
The wee boy was acting the same as his grandmother did.
Right.
She contacted a Kiwi paranormal expert, Mark Wallbanks, and he added, "He's sure that my son's anger and mood changes are to do with the doll." In November, Mark flew 12,000 miles to Scotland to hand Emily to spook investigator Liam Shand, who took her into his Inverness home. Liam, who is a co-founder of Highland Paranormal, said she's been very quiet and calm. So, Emily the doll is now quiet and calm now she's back in Inverness. So, you hate a haunted doll type story, don't you?
I'm not a fan. I hate haunted dolls, but I mean, really, I just hate all dolls, haunted or otherwise. They just give me the creeps, especially those old-fashioned sort of marble-eyed dolls that they've got in the museum in Edinburgh.
Well, that is exactly what Emily is. She is that kind of, porcelain-y kind of doll. Mm-hmm. So she's a spooky bitch, that's for sure. But yeah, so the poor son or grandson had why would you put storage reasons, putting the doll in his wardrobe? But yeah, he started acting out and being a little dick, just like his grandmother was. So they're convinced that this doll kind of possessed him.
I mean, nothing against Inverness, but I think if I was given the choice between Inverness and New Zealand, you know what I mean?
I don't know, but then if she was elderly, like I can see kind of the maybe she hated, living abroad. She maybe missed Tillich's tea cakes or Scottish blend tea. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm sure you can get all of those things there, and I'm sure it's an expat shop. But still, you know what? You maybe just like living in your own country. I don't know. It's difficult for us to say. I mean, I haven't lived in Scotland for 2007. I left, so. It's been a long time, and obviously I still miss it very much. But I'm fine with not living there.
So you're not going to. So if you end up dying, you're not going to possess any of your wrestling figures. Start terrorising Anka until she sends them back to Scotland.
Yeah, I might do. Actually, I need to pick which one. I think Papa Shango would be a good bet. I think kind of voodoo-ish. Yeah. I'm going to possess Papa Shango and come back and haunt my wife. Yeah.
I mean, do we think this is true, or do we think that it's maybe bollocks?
No, it's all bullshit. Of course it is. There's no way that's true. Fucking haunted doll. Jesus Christ, load of shite. Yeah. The grandson has probably had too much sugar or has some sort of undiagnosed
they are in difficulty.
Issue that he needs to they need to get him addressed. They would have been better off going to a doctor rather than a fucking paranormal expert and getting somebody to fly 12,000 miles to pick up a doll and take it back to Inverness. I think maybe they should have checked the E numbers in his Robinson's drink, or maybe just go and see a doctor and maybe get him checked.
Well, that's the thing. I think modern parents just assume that they are doing the best job. And then if one of their kids starts acting out, rather than examine themselves or, to your point, take him to a specialist, it can't be any of those things, because he's obviously perfect. We're perfect. He must be possessed.
He's possessed by a haunted doll that lives in his fucking bedroom cupboard. Yeah. It's the only explanation. There's nothing else that could be. It's obviously his grandmother come back from the grave possessing this doll.
It's obviously his crabbit, ungrateful grandmother.
Making him kick the wall. It's not just that he's a fucking little cunt. It's that it's obviously possessed. He's losing his shit because he doesn't get another fruit shoot or something. It's obviously he's possessed by the devil. Yeah, it's the only explanation, Greg.
The only explanation. Well, I'll be sure to remember that the next time when one of my kids starts acting like a prick.
Yeah, you better check their wardrobes for dolls or anything else. Okay, right. What else have you seen this week, Greg?
All right. So from Jersey Boys to an iconic jersey. This is a story from the 2nd of February. So Jim Baxter, former Rangers player and Scottish international, his iconic 1967 Scotland jersey sparks a dispute over the true owner just hours before it goes to auction. Two Falkirk businessmen claim that their strip is the real deal, as auctioneers prepare to sell off the shirt they claim was worn by Slim Jim at Scotland's historic 3-2 victory over England at Wembley. Now, the reason it was such a historic victory for perhaps younger listeners who aren't familiar is because this was the first time that Scotland had played England at home, at England's home of Wembley, I should say, after, I mean, you might not know this because they hardly ever mention it, but England won the World Cup in 1966. And the Scotland, the team that came out against Scotland in the game we're talking about is the same World Cup winning team, and there's a very famous picture of Jim Baxter playing keepy up near the touchline as the Scotland players ran riot in the last sort of 15-20 minutes. So, a dispute over the true owner of Jim Baxter's iconic 1967 Scotland jersey has broken out just hours before it's due to go under the hammer. Respected auction house McTears is to sell off what they claim to be the real strip worn by the legendary footballer when he helped steer the national side to the historic 3-2 victory over England at Wembley, saying it could fetch up to £60,000. But Falkirk businessmen Andrew Dixon and David Wishart have told the Record that their dads snapped up the genuine article for £17,500 at a 1991 dinner auction attended by Baxter himself, who died in 2001. The pair, who have pictures of themselves posing with former Rangers midfielder Jim in the framed shirt as schoolboys, have presented their case to McTears and urged them to halt the sale of the rival jersey. But valuers, who claim the law is the most important Scotland football jersey ever to come to auction, that's in quotation marks by the way, told them the authenticity of their number 6 jersey is cast iron, which is also in quotation marks. Andrew, 40, said, "We just want to preserve the legacy behind the jersey. That to us is the most important thing. We have a huge amount of verification behind our shirt. We have a member of the Baxter family who confirmed the shirt we bought was billed as the jersey he wore at the match. We have spoken to football pundit Chick Young, who got the shirt directly from Jim and auctioned it off back in 1991. McTears have not asked to see our shirt or had any meaningful dialogue about it. We've spoken to them and emailed them our evidence, but the thing that shocked and surprised us both was the response. They have disregarded everything we've said to them. Our dads bought the shirt back in 1991 with a business partner. They have zero interest in selling the jersey. It's of no consequence to us at all, and there'll be no monetary gain at our end. All we want to do is preserve the authenticity of our item because we believe someone else is going to be conned." David, 43, said studying the cuffs on the shirt worn by the Scotland squad that day has also reinforced his belief that the strip is a real deal. Maybe they stink of vodka. He said, when you look at pictures from that game and you look at the cuffs on the jerseys, they are different from the one being offered at auction, but the ones we have on our jersey are the same. So, the reason I picked this story, it was so I could ask you a question, right? And I'm going to put you in a spot a bit. But if you could have a jersey from any player who has played in a very important game, could be an Aberdeen game or a Scotland game, which jersey would you have?
Willie Miller's jersey from the 1983 Cup Winners' Cup final, when Aberdeen beat Real Madrid 2-1.
No messing. I wonder where that jersey, do you know where that jersey is? In Pataudry, maybe? In the museum in Pataudry?
No idea. But that is, for me, just such an iconic jersey. So, I'd have that, without a doubt. What about yourself?
I'm not sure. I mean, it would be cool to have Archie Gemmell's jersey from him scoring against Holland in 1978, but I'm not sure I could look at it without the vision of Kelly MacDonald and Ian McGregor shagging and chain spotting. But that would be a good one to have, I think, if I was being put in the spot. I think perhaps a more recent one. It'd be quite good to have Craig Burley's jersey for his goal against Norway in the France World Cup. You know?
I mean, the obvious answer is you're going to go with something like Michael Jordan's 23 jersey from one of the Bulls winning games, because that would be worth a fortune and you could sell it and probably retire. However, if you're wanting it for sentimental reasons, then of course you're going to want something that's more fitting.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in I've been in the trophy room in Pittodrie, but it was like a long time ago, like 1998, something like that. I don't really remember if they had any jerseys framed up on the walls in the trophy room.
Not sure. Yeah, but it's been a long time since I've been there. I couldn't remember. Maybe worth finding out if Willie Miller still has that, or if he swapped it with he wouldn't have swapped it with a Real Madrid player, because obviously the iconic photo is him holding the trophy aloft, and everyone's wearing their Aberdeen kit. I guess you didn't swap jerseys back in the day, but then in a cup final, I guess you don't swap jerseys.
No, I was just about to say that. I can't think of any. I mean, I know like a friendly or maybe a group stage game. You know, if like, I don't know, if Scotland were playing Argentina or something, I'm sure that it would be good to get Messi's shirt or one of those guys. You know what I mean? If they swap shirts at the end, Well,
that was the famous story that came out recently, and it was one of the England players that had Maradona's shirt from the infamous, Hand of God game. I can't remember which player it was. It was like an innocuous kind of English player that got his jersey. And like after full time, they were in the dressing room and the players were kind of going mental at him for having this. Like, why the fuck are you, why did you take that? A little cheating bastard. And I think that shirt recently sold for some sort of ridiculous amount of money. Let me just double check. This is from last year. That sold for $9 million.
Wow. Who's laughing now?
Yeah. So I mean that's a famous kind of jersey that you wouldn't mind of owning that. And obviously as a Scotsman I would have quite liked to have owned that jersey.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of money to be made in famous jerseys.
For sure.
And jersey boys as well.
Imagine a few of Pele's shirts probably go for a lot of money from his career. I imagine Messi probably as well. After he retires, a lot of his jerseys will be from his sort of Champions League games and his World Cup games and stuff will be highly sought after. But yeah, it'll be interesting to know. I mean, you got to think that Willie Miller, that's the sort of thing that he's probably got in a frame in his house, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would hope so.
It's like the highest point of his playing career. You know, yeah. You don't sell it if you were sort of like kind of George Bested in a bad way and needed money, I don't think. Willie Miller's a shrewd businessman, as we know. So yeah. Anyway, so that's my second story. What's your next story this week?
So my next story is from the Daily Record this week, Greg, and it is a Scots garden centre that made a drug-related joke about their addictive chicken curry has been forced to apologise. Threaplin's Garden Centre in Elgin sparked outrage online when they posted a photo of the dish on Facebook. Alongside the image, the eatery advertised their cocaine curry, adding that the chef must have sprinkled something addictive into the food. So the post has now been amended due to the volume of angry feedback from customers who didn't appreciate the joke about Class A drugs. The garden centre staff also joked that they intended to type coconut curry, but blamed predictive text. Yeah, because predictive text will always be coconut. Oh, did you mean cocaine? Yes. In the original post, the garden centre said, cocaine curry? I'm pretty sure the kitchen must sprinkle something addictive into our curry because I just can't get enough of it. Today looks like a day for a hearty meal. Take a trip to Threaplin's and try our cocaine curry for yourself. So the predictive text has obviously changed it twice in the same post. Angry customers quickly flooded in as one person said, seriously bad choice of words, while another added that it was extremely unprofessional of the local business. Another social media user said, look, I love a good funny post, but this was pretty close to the bone. And I just knew as soon as I read that reference that all hell was going to break loose. Others, however, were less amused by the post, praising the staff for not taking things too seriously. One poster said, you should try the mushroom soup. It's magic. Someone else said, you guys nailed it for getting attention. Geez, if people are that upset, just scroll past. These comments are hilarious. A third poster said, my family has been ripped apart and lives destroyed by drugs. But you know what? I kind of still find this post lighthearted and funny. There's too much seriousness and negativity in the world. Life is for living. Stop picking negative spots. Just enjoy it and be happy. And maybe even treat yourself to some cocaine curry. The Garden Centre later said, Marmite, different posts for different folks. Would you believe it? It was predictive text. Coconut curry is what we meant to say. We love humour, sometimes close to the line, but apologies if we overstepped the mark today. No offence was meant, and it brought equal parts joy as it did upset. Thought process, miserable day, ooh, curry, it's addictive. What else is addictive? End of. No more thought giving. Poking fun at me for being addicted to it. Let us know if you like our Facebook page. So, someone's obviously had a bit of a laugh and went cocaine curry. It's kind of got a bit out of hand. People have got offended and they've had to apologise. But come on, come up with a better reason than, it was predictive text. We meant to say coconut curry, but it spelt cocaine instead. I mean, obviously, whoever's in charge of that social media, you need to maybe drug test them, because if they're spelling out cocaine that often, then if their predictive text is saying that, need to be checked. Coconut curry, cocaine curry, what would you prefer?
I think definitely coconut curry. Yeah, it's a weird one. Come down to Threadlands for a few lines of our addictive cocaine curry.
Can buy some roses and then have a cocaine curry. We'll share at it. Lovely. Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, that has to be come on, it's quite funny. I like it funny when companies do sort of a social media thing like that, and it's obviously lighthearted, and they've thought that was a good idea, but obviously got a bit of backlash.
Well, I don't understand why people get so fucking upset over something like that. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I mean, I just don't get how you could be offended. Yeah, it was obviously done on purpose, as you've said, but it's just it's just a bit of a joke. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe in hindsight, perhaps a little bit blunt, maybe, but don't get so fucking upset about it.
Well, just take light from the poster that obviously said, my family has been ripped apart and lives destroyed by drugs. But you know what? I still find this post funny. They've obviously taken taken it as it was probably intended. Just a bit of a joke. Like, our curry is so addictive. It's, cocaine. They didn't pick smack. They could have... wasn't that bad, but so I think it's just a bit lighthearted. It's just saying, our curry is so good that you're gonna want more. Yeah, just like cocaine or crack. It's very addictive, very Moorish.
Yeah. So we hear, so we hear. Oh dear.
Anyway, so if you want some good cocaine curry, then you know where to go.
I mean, if I was in the market for a curry, I'm not sure a garden centre would be the first place that I'd be rushing off to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to think that, but obviously it's very good, very addictive. But yeah, you're right, garden centre is not the first place I would think to go to. I really fancy a curry. You go to Adobe's and see what they've got. Never mind. Okay, have you seen anything else this week, Greg?
No, I don't think so. I think that was it. I mean, there was a good one about Angel the dog who managed to rip through his letterbox, and there's quite a nice picture of him pleased as fuck with himself with his head poking out of the hole that he's made in the door. I do like that kind of thing. £400 worth of damage. He's what kind of dog is he? Let me just check. He's a Akita, an Akita XL bully. Okay. Never heard.
Wow.
So yeah, but he looks like quite a character. But that's it. What else have you seen this week? Anything else?
The only last thing I have is I do like this when there is a famous fan of a Scottish football team. So, we have, I guess, in Scotland, famously, Lorraine Kelly is a big Dundee United fan. We've got the Proclaimers are big Hibs fans. Big Tam was a massive Celtic fan, and then they stopped giving him free tickets, and then he changed to the Rangers. So, Says a lot about Big Tam.
It does indeed.
Aberdeen, we always cling on to the fact that Louise Nerding was once photographed in an Aberdeen top, and Lily Allen was also photographed in an Aberdeen top. Samantha Mumba is an Aberdeen fan as well. I guess our most famous fan probably is Gavin Rossdale, the lead singer of Bush, because his family are from Aberdeen. However, we have a new Scottish football fan. So this is from the Scottish Daily Express this week. A championship wrestler from America has revealed that he has a soft spot for Rangers, delighting fans in the process. Lex Luger, a two-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, also explained that his family links are from Coatbridge.
Wow.
So, so the former American, he was a former football player. So he's now 64 and he's still working with the WWE, works in their wellness policy, which is quite ironic, I think, given his past. After offering his support for Manchester United before their match with Arsenal, one fan said that he should follow a Scottish football team, and he responded, I do. I'm a big Rangers fan. Both of my mom's parents were born and raised in Coatbridge, so you should really be a fucking Airdrie fan.
I was going to say, yeah, should be following the Adrionians.
Fans were delighted, and one said, to be expected from the total package. That was his kind of name. Another said, makes sense. Lex was always about the red, white and blue, because he famously used to always wear like American kind of stuff, because he was like American. So Lex Luger,
Fair play.
Big Rangers fan apparently.
So did you say his mum and dad came from Coatbridge?
He said his mom's parents.
Oh, his grandparents.
His grandparents, they were from Coatbridge. Yeah. But so instantly that makes him a Rangers fan, it would seem.
The last time I saw Lex Luger on the TV, he looked like calendar material.
I mean, he's in a wheelchair now, and he's, he never recovered from his long-time partner dying. She died of a cocaine drug binge, and a lot of people blamed him.
Oh, yeah.
And do you know who that was?
Was it not... was it the big, tall lady wrestler? No,
it was Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Macho Man. He stole Macho Man's wife, and a lot of people blamed him for her dying. But I think it was found that it was just it was accidental. Like, it was an accidental drug overdose. But he never recovered from that. Anyway, I never liked Lex Luger, so it's
don't say anything nasty. Come on. Just leave it there.
Okay. Right. Before we go on to what we're going to be talking about today, Greg, let's have a little word from our sponsors.
If you walk along the Clyde to Stockwell Street, the Brigade's open 6 full days a week.
Every week.
It's Glasgow's newest, brightest shopping spree. You want it, Brigade's got it, guaranteed. Bread and buns, butcher suits, trendy clothes, picture books, pints and sharks, plants and pots, live on stage, we've got the lot. It's the 50 Shop, one-stop shopping complex.
Okay, Greg, so it was your choice on this episode of The Swally. So why do you tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
Well, when I was writing the Scottish horror essay on the website, I came across this film. I hadn't watched it, but I read about it and I thought, oh, that sounds really good. So I thought, let's be giving it doing The Swally. It's the 2013 low-budget, very low-budget Scottish horror film known as Lord of Tears, but in America it's called The Owlman. It's directed by Lawrie Brewster. That is the directorial debut. It stars David Schofield, very famous actor, who you will have seen in many things such as Gladiator, Our Friends in the North, Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, he's in loads of things. You don't see his face, you only hear his voice. The lovely Lexi Hume, or if you want to look for her on Wikipedia, as I did earlier on. She goes by Alexandra Hume, Ewan Douglas, and Jamie Scott Gordon, and it tells a story of James Finlay, played by Ewan Douglas, a school teacher who has been estranged from his mum for many, many years, returns home to settle her estate after her death, and discovers lots of scary, spooky things about his past growing up in Boldarroch house in the, I guess it's supposed to be up sort of in the sky direction. So this wasn't a hard film to find. It's on YouTube. I hadn't seen it before. I know you hadn't. What did you think of The Lord of Tears?
You're right. I hadn't seen it. I was aware of it. I think in researching probably Halloween or scary films for our annual Swally Spooktacular, I think I'd come across the film. Because when I went to look at it, I recognised the cover, the kind of promotional poster. Where to start? You know what? It's okay. It's not great. I'm going to say that. And I think it's let down badly by the acting, and I think it's let down by the fact it's only an hour and 24 minutes. Yeah. It's too long. This would have worked. No, I genuinely mean this. I think if you tighten this up a bit, this could work as like a 30, 45 minute short. This is kind of like a Tales of the Unexpected, or
Tales from the Crypt or something.
Yeah, or I could imagine a kind of a Inside Number 9 almost kind of esque episode. If you tighten it up, you just make it a little bit more polished. It's not bad. The premise is there. Yep. The story is there. It's not bad, but it's let down by the acting is terrible. Let's just say that from the outset. And that takes you out of it quite a lot, I think. I think some of the direction is there, and what also took me out, and I can't understand how this happened. I mean, I know it's a very low budget film, yeah? However, see some of the shots that you have of the outside and the landscapes and stuff. They are fucking beautiful and incredible and so rich visually in terms of that. However, the shots inside and around the house, you know what it reminded me of? If you think back to like 70s and 80s UK sitcoms.
Yeah.
Like Some Others Do Have 'Em, or even Only Fools and Horses. Whenever they went outside, the camera work looked a bit off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it looked like odd, whereas when it was in the studio, it looked fine, but outside. This was kind of the reverse. The outside shots were beautiful, but when it was filmed inside, it looked a bit like a, kind of a student production.
Yeah. I mean, I think in essence that's sort of what it is. I mean, for me, this sort of thing is normally right up my street. I've mentioned on the Swally before, I love things like The Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt and Tales Unexpected and all these sort of like old classic spooky anthology type things. So when I read the premise, I thought, that is a bit of me. I need to say I'm going to want to watch that. What I found jarring about it is that it's shot a bit like a music video. You know what I mean? And there's also some continuity errors as well. There's a very glaring one early in the film when James is exploring the house, and there's a shot of him sort of wistfully putting his hand in a swimming pool, and then when they pull back for the long shot, the pool's got a cover over it.
Now, I did think this as well. However, he was putting his hand in the jacuzzi, because there's a little jacuzzi next to the pool. Okay. However, I agree, the pool has a cover on it, and then why would you cover the pool and not the jacuzzi?
Yeah.
So
it's a bit... I kind of felt like they were trying to sort of kind of over-egg the pudding a little bit, if you like. Like all the sort of the kind of cut shots to his pal, Alan, like giving his dad handfuls of pills and swinging an axe about and all that. Where, and it was sort of being implied that, it was kind of implied that these were visions that Jamie's having when he's having like nightmares, or when he sees the Owlman and all this sort of thing. It's a bit kind of, I don't know, I kind of needed a bit more cohesion, I would say. You know what I mean?
I didn't really understand those cuts to Alan with, covered in blood. Obviously, when it comes to the end, it kind of makes sense. However, I could have kind of done without that, because you're kind of waiting for Alan to turn up.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? You're thinking Alan's going to murder. Well, spoiler alert, he does, but you're kind of waiting for some sort of barbaric bloodbath.
Yeah.
What I would say is, and I listened to an interview with the director, Lawrie Anderson.
Lawrie Brewster.
No, Lawrie Brewster. Sorry. Who's Lawrie Anderson?
Fuck knows.
So the idea came from like a classic haunted house film, and he wanted to kind of, interpret that. And he kind of researched this, he loved the idea of like Slender Man.
Yeah.
And he wanted to kind of make something like that. And he went down the route of researching, because he was actually, he's a massively, not massively religious, but he knows a lot about religion, because he was actually studying to be a priest. Before he decided to go into filmmaking. And he came up with this, the idea of the mollusk, and it's quite a famous thing, the mollusk, and it's the interpretation is normally a bull's head. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, I can't really do that. That's a bit stupid, isn't it? So but researching it, he did find that some strain of religion believes that the mollusk is an owl. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you know what, I can run with that. And I would say, fair play, the idea of the Owlman is great. Mm-hmm. I think when he appears on screen, it's brilliant. Mm-hmm. It's chilling. And it sounds stupid describing it. It's a guy in a, like tuxedo, kind of like 1950s tails, but with this massive owl head. But it does actually work. And it's pretty cool, and it's probably the best part of the film, this Owlman. I just wish there was a bit more of some sort of substance to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, the act, you mentioned the acting earlier. I think part of the issue is Ewan Douglas, who plays Jamie, because he's not a great actor, is he? And Lexi Hume, she's not terrible. You know what I mean? They use her when she's a dancer, Lexi Hume. That's her first job.
I gathered that with a 5-minute dance scene.
Yeah, exactly.
And I timed it. It's 5 minutes long. I timed it. Yeah.
It's awkward. She's not too bad, and the guy who plays Alan's sort of all right as well. But it's hard work being with Ewan Douglas, because he's what am I trying to say here? He doesn't come across as a sort of natural sort of actor. Do you know what I mean? Like, no. when you think of actors, you tend to think of people who take themselves quite seriously, but are also charming and sort of flexible in terms of how they react to things and whatnot. Just like the scenes with him just sort of wandering around the house, like looking at stuff, trying to open doors, and then and when sometimes he's in his pajamas, sometimes he's in bed with sort of bare shouldered, you know what I mean? And it's just fucking, it's weird.
It's so funny you say that, because that stuck with me as well. Yeah. Like when you see him in his pajamas, and I was like, wait a minute, we've seen him waking up a few times and he's always like sleeping just in his pants. Yeah. Where have these pajamas come from? Like, has he had these all the time? I feel bad because he's doing his best, but yeah, he's not the best. I mean, this is his only acting credit, and I think that's probably why. I mean,
it's not,
Oh, is it not?
No,
I thought it was his only acting credit.
No, Lawrie Brewster will get him back for another movie in 2015 called The Unkindness of Ravens. He gets him back for that. And then he gets what's her name? Lexi Hume back for the Devil's Machine in 2018. And he's even done a prequel to The Lord of Tears called The Black Glove.
Yes, which I believe does feature a couple of the actors from this, because it is kind of a prequel to this.
I mean, the unkindness of Ravens, the unkindness seems to be that they fucking peck your eyes out, judging by the film poster.
So he gets left this house by his mother, who passed away, and obviously we discover that he has had some sort of childhood trauma. at this house. And he's obviously blocked it out of his mind, but this kind of resurfaces things. And in giving him this house, his mother has also left him explicit instructions to not go to this house at all. But he still decides to not even just go and visit it. He takes half term. Because obviously we realise he's a school teacher, which I don't know why that was relevant. He decides to go to the house and stay for a week or so, I guess, if it's half term. If you were given explicit instructions not to go to a house that has some deep-rooted childhood trauma for you, I mean, I can see the point in terms of, because he discusses with Alan, it's almost like a therapy, like I need to go and banish this. But fuck that. This is prime real estate in the Highlands. It's a massive kind of estate. Yeah, fuck that. Get it on the market. Sold. Right, I'm buying a Ferrari. Like, I'm not fucking trekking up there to go and visit my childhood trauma home.
So, you had a vivid imagination. We all did till they beat it out of us at school.
No, there's more to it, Alan. The pure dread. It was as if the creature in the drawing was real somehow.
So, you think you actually saw a man with an owl's head? Even back then, you never seemed unhinged to me. You think if something was up, I would have noticed. Or you would have told me.
Anyway, we were just kids. Our biggest discussions were during toy swapping sessions.
Fair point.
Yeah, and if I did decide to go against my mother's explicit wishes, the first fucking scary thing, I'm gone, and I'd be fucking driving up. I wouldn't be like getting the train and a ferry and all the shit that he does in a taxi there. I'd be taking my car so I could fuck off whenever I wanted. Do you know what I mean?
Would you not, like, okay, you get there and then you meet this beautiful woman, and who apparently is, lives in the stables.
Yeah, the
you're going
converted
to be
stables.
like, okay, I might hang around here because I might try and fire into her later on. However, then you go into the house and you go into the bedroom and you're like, why is there a fucking cot next to this spooky 4-poster bed? There's a cot in my room. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Yeah. I'm staying in the stables with Lexi.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. I know, do you know what I mean? And like, another thing is, I would imagine that the house that size has got a few bedrooms, right? So you go on that one, it feels a bit weird sleeping in a room with a cot in it as well. I'll just choose one of the other 8 bedrooms that doesn't have a cot in it. Do you know what I mean?
And so he goes in, he has his first night there, and then he comes down the stairs, and there's this little bit where there's like a chair propped up against the door, and he pulls it away and he tries the door, but it's not opening. What's behind that door? Did we ever find out?
Well, that's the cellar, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay.
But to your point, just after that, when he first discovers that and he hears the smash and the picture's falling down to reveal a key, we don't really find out what that key was for, because he immediately goes and opens the trunk, but it wasn't clear whether the key opened the trunk or whether he just opened the trunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the key opened the trunk.
Right,
yeah.
right, okay.
That was what it was for. But he straight away, like, kind of looked at the key and was like, I know what this is
looks
for.
like it'll fit a trunk. Oh, there's a trunk over there.
Yeah, he's obviously played a lot of Silent Hill or Resident Evil type game. That's kind of, here's a key. What does it fit? Oh, it fits this trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a kind of a little bit of...
Here's a typewriter. I can save my progress here. In case the Owlman gets me in the next room.
But then the other key, instantly he knows what that's for as well, because that's when he has the kind of... was it real? Was it not? Well, we know it wasn't real because obviously she's a ghostie, but when he has that sexy dream about Evie...
She manages to make him dinner. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. She makes him stew.
Yeah.
Lovely stew.
Glass of red wine.
But then when she comes into the room and then he kind of wakes up and he's got a key under his pillow, and he instantly is like, I know what this is for. It's for the cellar. And I'll go down and have a rake around and see the Owlman.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not particularly superstitious, but I don't think, if I didn't have like an explicit reason to go into like a darkened cellar that I wasn't familiar with, and like, it would have to be a really, really good reason. Do you know what I mean? It could just be out of curiosity. I wouldn't be going down there. I mean, I've seen enough films to know that it never, ever ends well.
So he's alone in this house with Evie, who is, she never really says what she is. She just lives in the stables.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of unravels, because he does say to her, like, what do you actually do here? Like, and it takes him a long time to ask her that. But,
Yeah.
you know, surely that would be one of the first questions. Are you presuming that it's just some massive Airbnb and she kind of runs the show? But yeah, it's never kind of explicitly known what she does. Would you not question that? Or is he just so enamored with her? Because, you know, to be fair, she's
gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. And she's very hospitable and very friendly towards him.
Well,
would you not question?
Well, the thing is, right, so if I'm putting myself in his position, right? I'm not speaking as Greg, I'm speaking as James, the artist formerly known as Jamie, right? And I've turned up at this fucking spooky old house that I'm sort of staring down the barrel of spending a couple of days with my Jack Jones in. I find a lovely, raven-haired, friendly, young, but not too young, American girl. So, you know, I'm probably going to start thinking to myself, maybe some romantic notions here. How do you get to know somebody? You ask them questions, to your point. You know, so where are you from? What is it you do here at the house? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to, if I'm going to a house that I know is potentially haunted, right, and she's a bit evasive, immediately alarm bells are going to start to ring. Do you know what I mean? So what is it you do here, Lexi? Why don't you tell me more about you? Hang on, I want to know exactly what it is you do in this house.
Does it not? I'd be quite offended as well, because she comes in with a stew and they're having dinner, and she blatantly says to him, like, "Is there a woman in your life?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "Yeah, I thought not."
Thought not. You're fucking, you sad cunt.
All right.
Monsieur, oui. Is there a lady in your life? I thought not. You just seem like the type of person to not let people in without putting up a fight. Why don't you ask me something instead?
Where in the States are you from?
The South. Way down in the South. Small towns, small minds, no place for a dreamer like me. So I left as soon as I could.
A classic hero's journey.
Heroines, you mean?
I'd be a bit like, excuse me? Why are you presuming? Like, I thought not. Yeah, that's a bit condescending and a little bit presumptuous of you, Evie. Jesus.
Yeah, I might have just got out of a really long-term, difficult relationship, for all you know. Yeah, no, I know, it's just, and then, so like, that's established, right? So I guess we're to assume that he has assumed that she perhaps hosts the house, right? To what you said earlier, you know, for whoever owns it. So then she just starts fucking appearing. He's having a lovely swim. She fucking turns up in a little one piece, doing a little sexy walk down the stairs and all that, and coming into the pool and things. And then he's having dreams about her turn. He's just in the house all the time. Do you know what I mean? And there's even that scene. She's in the house all the time, unless they're sitting out in the garden, or she's doing a Kate Winslet at the top of the fucking mountain. And then when he finds the picture of her and he can't find her, and I'm thinking, just fucking look in the house. She's always in the house. Do you know what I mean? He's running about outside. He's falling over. It's pissing with rain. He's in the mud. He's calling her name. I'm like, she's in the house, mate. she's always in the house.
Now, I would say, obviously, once he discovers that she's not real, and he kind of tells her, and then she gives him a bath.
Yeah. I'll answer this question in the bath.
And then this for me was kind of the best part of the film. Like, I really like that. She turns black and white and turns into like the kind of zombie and
Ringu.
As like well, this is exactly it, because I think the director was very influenced by Japanese films as well, and it's very much a Ringu or The Grudge type thing. Especially now, again, I thought this was quite good. However, it was too long. This part, you could have cut it a little bit. The bit where, you know, she crawls out from under the bed and she's doing the kind of twisty dance down in the cellar. That was the best bit of the film for me. Like, she, you know, climbing up on him and dancing around the room, and she's in the crib and stuff. really liked that, but it was a bit too long.
Yeah.
Cut it a little bit shorter, and it's going to be more enjoyable.
And it's a real gear change. Do you know what I mean? It's a real gear change, because up until then, it's a sort of spooky sort of things that go bump in the night, or baths that come on by themselves in the night and that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of, and then he just sort of goes for this out and out, like, overt haunting. It's very much, to your point, it's very sort of Japanese horror. You can see he sort of wears it on his sleeve, doesn't he?
Had you, no, obviously she's a ghostie, but had you picked up on that prior to the reveal? Or
no?
I mean, because obviously we're watching kind of like a horror film, and so we know I had picked up that something wasn't right about her.
Yeah.
And quite early on, I was like, well, she's a ghost or she's not real. But I genuinely thought it was his mum, and it was a young version of his mum. So when he's cracking onto her, I was like, oh, this is going to take a fucking dark turn later on.
It's funny you should say that, because I've written in my book, Shaggy's mum? ? Because just as I was writing that, the reveal of who she actually was, I was like, right, okay, that makes sense. Because like but I didn't see it coming. The thing that kind of threw me was
Shaggy's mum.
The thing that kind of threw me was the scene in the pool when she dunks him, and then he dunks her back, and she starts acting a bit strangely, and she sort of wanders away. And I thought to myself, he's
fucked it.
He's fucked it. Oh, Jamie, you fucked it. I thought to myself, I wonder if it's one of these maybe a sort of Fight Clubby type twist. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
where he is haunted by himself, essentially. And she has seen this side of him when he ducks her under the water, and that's why she starts acting strangely. You know what I mean? And then she comes back later on to say, oh, you didn't do anything wrong, it's me. I forgot that I was scared of the water. I must have suppressed it.
You're saying that in his head, you thought that he's like, okay, I'm haunting myself. So I'm a pale ginger Scottish virgin. So what would I like to be? I'll be a smoking hot Southern American brunette.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, I thought there was going to be two sides to his personality, and he was, and neither side was aware of the other side. And then when he ducked her head under the water, she saw this sort of other side of his personality. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. I didn't think that. So he didn't shag his mum. He just said a really, really big wank.
I think Evie's kind of fashion and dress sense kind of gave it away for me as well, because she was very much 50s vibe, and especially the one-piece swimsuit. So I'm like, this is like kind of like 1940s, 50s kind of style. So where's, there's something not right here. So I think that was part of it that kind of gave it away for me a little bit.
Yeah, the whole contention of the pagan shrine feels like it's a bit sort of poltergeist, isn't it? It all feels a bit like it's been done to death.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of it was okay. I didn't offend me as such, like the kind of pagan shrine. But yeah, I know what you mean. The whole point of having the skull there. And how were those candles lit? Like, in terms of, have they just been burning for all that time? But they weren't, that worn down. Did she light them? I don't know who lit them.
Evie's been going down. I noticed in the dancing scene, she manages to light the candle in a unlit fire.
Yeah. That was she stuck it up the chimney, and maybe Santa was leaning down there to light it for her. But you're right, it's kind of a pagan ritual, and that's the thing. They do say that the house was built on an old pagan site. So we're led to believe that obviously his mum was kind of dying, and they effectively sold their soul to the mollusk, and they had to give a sacrifice, and they wanted the boy, but instead they just employed this American au pair who they then drowned and cut her head off and sacrificed her. So again, I think this is quite a clever little twist and quite a nice story. It's just too long and too convoluted. Just cut it down.
Yeah, I mean, you could have cut out that whole dancing scene, so it doesn't I mean,
5 minutes, Greg. 5 minutes.
The only thing it serves to do is show what a good dancer Lexi Hume is. You could have taken out all the scenes with Alan, like sitting in the car in his car at the Vicky in the south side of Glasgow and all this sort of stuff. And if you'd taken all that out, the twist at the end would have been a lot more powerful, I think, right?
Exactly, because it's like I said, you're waiting for Alan to turn up.
Yeah.
You're waiting for him to turn up at the house. You're thinking he's going to be possessed and go mad with an axe and stuff but no. And when it comes to the end, I was kind of like, oh, that's a weird twist. Like, as soon as he's drinking the whiskey and he's like, oh, it's a bit hot, I was like, oh, well, fucking Alan's obviously drugged him.
Yeah.
But
fuck's sake, Alan.
It would have been... it would have been so much better if you hadn't seen those scenes.
Yeah.
Keep in the quick scene when he phones him to say how you doing, and he's like, I can't really talk right now. Keep that, but cut out the rest of the covered in blood and
Don't need any of that. It's fine to have that scene at the beginning that sort of sets it up when he's telling Alan how he's planning to go there. To your point, you leave that scene in just to remind us that, you know, that there's a guy called Alan and he's what's his name, James's ally, do you know what I mean, and his friend and stuff. I mean, but to be honest though, that scene at the beginning when they're chatting, Alan and Jamie, and I'm thinking, has this been improvised? Because the script is fucking crap.
But you know what?
Toy swapping sessions. It
was quite evident to me in that scene that neither of them were in the room at the same time, because you don't have like a wide pan of them together. It's very much one person talking to like a bit of tape, like speak here. And the other person, there's no proper interaction. Like, if you had someone sitting across from you, you would be a bit more natural and the way you're talking. Well, very evident to me. And that took me right out of it. Like, I was like, give me a wide shot so I can prove that they're both there at the same time. But no, they were...
Ewan Douglas has scenes where he's very much in the same room with people and he still doesn't seem... you know what I mean? Like he's very natural. But like the whole kind of content of that scene on the lines in the script, toy swapping sessions. I always beat you at toy swapping sessions. I remember when I got you to swap a brand new Action Man for a bag of marbles and a copy of the Dandy. I'm like, what? How is this relevant to the fucking plot?
Do you think that's a euphemism, toy swapping sessions? But but it does become relevant later when he unearths his little time capsule and it's a copy of the Dandy.
But no marbles. There. He's lost his marbles. No,
see? Oh, you've just discovered something that I don't even think the director knew about, Greg.
Well, do you know, there's another thing that I think the director could have used to good effect that he missed. So after Evie's gone full Ringu and she's like fucking chasing around, she's carrying a candle. Now, Evie has been decapitated, right? That's how she's been killed. Or that's after she's been decapitated. So the song Oranges and Lemons...
After she's been decapitated.
No, I mean, she was killed and then decapitated.
She was drowned and then decapitated, yeah.
So the old song Oranges and Lemons, so when she's come down the stairs with a candle, for whatever reason, it went in my head... here is a candle to light you to bed. Here is a chopper to chop off your head, which is one of the verses in Origins in the Bells of St. Clement, you know? But again, just left it on the table.
Fucked it,
Brewster, honestly.
We need to give a bit more attention to the Owlman, because it is a fantastic kind of, not creation, but he's a good foil, and I was quite excited when he turned up, and quite menacing and chilling in a way. Could have been used to better effect, I think, but quite a cool kind of guy. And he, the way he spoke, I did read the director had said he was kind of influenced by Nadsat, like in A Clockwork Orange. That's the way that Owlman kind of spoke. And if you listen back to it, it does kind of make sense. He doesn't speak in kind of normal language. It's almost like a rhyme or kind of different language. But yeah, I really thought the Owlman was very effective. And I liked the idea of it.
Did you not taste the ill decay on your lost lover's lips and sense that its foul fragrance would consume you too? Oh, stupid specimen of your sick species. Today, I make your skull my prize, your soul my shiny trinket. Your martyrdom will be most glorious and long.
Yeah, it's a good device. David Schofield has quite a distinctive voice. Anyway, like I mentioned at the beginning of the review, I mean, he's been fucking around forever. David Schofield's been like in everything. But I mean, he's in America. He's in An American Werewolf in London. He's one of the guys in the pub with Brian Glover and Rick Mail. He's one of the main protagonists. Like Rick Mail's just in the background, sort of kind of doing like funny faces, really, like reacting. But the rest of the scene is like a two-hander with Brian Glover and David Schofield. He's really good, and like, you know, the lines are all very, the sort of, I guess that they're supposed to sound a bit sort of mythological, as the things he's saying. And I think a lesser actor, it wouldn't have been as effective because like you don't see David Schofield's face. We're not even sure if it's David Schofield in the Owlman costume. We bet it's probably not.
I believe it is.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
You could just recorded it and stayed at home. You could put anybody in the costume.
No.
You could do a stand-up point.
I'm led to believe it was David Schofield that was in that costume. Yeah.
Well, you're just getting full Schofield value for your money. But yeah, no, and really that's what made me want to cover this in the Swally, because a good sort of horror device, like you and I are big fans of like the Halloween movies and Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff, and like the film that scares my wife the most, so much so that she won't watch any scary films on purpose anyway. Sometimes we can trick her into watching the odd one. But do you remember the Richard Gere film, The Mothman Prophecies?
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
wow.
I've only ever seen it once. I don't remember it really blowing me away, to be honest. But the character of the Mothman, this sort of thing that people see before something terrible happens, fucking for whatever reason scared the shit out of Paula.
Oh wow. Okay.
So much so that she doesn't even like talking about it, because in case she remembers. I haven't seen it. It's one of the few topics of discussion that is not allowed in our household, the Mothman.
Oh wow. Well, she wouldn't be impressed with the Owlman, I guess. Like I say, I thought it was a good kind of character, a good premise. As you say, it's not going to live for the ages amongst, Jason or Freddy or Michael Myers, but a good idea, but could have done a lot more with it, I think. I
mean, I think there's a case for a perhaps more professional remake of this film. You know what I mean? I think you could have somebody like James McAvoy might be quite good as Jamie. Someone like that. You could have, it's the sort of thing that, what's his name? M. Night Shyamalan would have. Shyamalan would have good. He would have a lot of fun with that device and everything, and that sort of contention of this old pagan mythology and people being haunted, and of course he loves a twist as well. He likes to put a twist in, doesn't he?
Well, that's it. You need to have a twist at the end. What would be the twist?
The twist is
there is a twist.
Yeah.
There was a twist. It was just badly executed.
Well, the thing is, I think the twist comes a bit too late. A bit too early in the film, because there's still a good sort of 20-25 minutes of sort of manga Evie scaring the shit out, scaring the shit out of James and everything. I think like a good twist is a sort of kind of comes in the last sort of 10 minutes of the film. If you think about The Sixth Sense and Fight Club, they're two massive twists that I did not see coming when I watched those films for the first time in the cinema. I don't know about you. I had nobody had spoiled them for me. I think I went to see both films quite soon after they came out. It was before the internet was as widely used as it is now. And I fucking had no idea about those twists. So I was proper, oh my God, you know what I mean, when it was revealed. I didn't see it coming at all in the film. In either film, rather.
But that's the issue nowadays. It is a case of people maybe won't give away the twist.
Yeah.
But they will say there is a twist.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're watching the film,
you're waiting for it.
You're waiting for it.
Yeah.
Whereas Sixth Sense, like back in the day, exactly as you say, there was no internet, there was no Facebook and stuff. So it was only word of mouth. If you'd heard someone had seen it, and they would have to say to you, "Oh, but there's a twist at the end." But if you didn't know that, then you're not waiting for it. So it makes that experience so much richer. Whereas, well, mind you, I didn't know there was going to be a twist at the end of this.
No, I didn't either. No, I didn't. It sort of saved it a bit for me, to be honest. I was kind of like, because it's so... You feel like he is trying to misdirect you, or I felt like that. The director's trying to misdirect us all the way away from this. So, this twist, which I guess is the right thing to do if you want to create that impactful moment in the story. But up until the twist, I was like, what the fuck's going on here? This is, and I was getting a bit pissed off, you know what I mean?
I mean, look, to be fair, as we've said, and we're not criticising this film too much, like, the premise is there. The story's there. The characters are there. It just needs tightening up and
refining.
A little bit more refining. Yeah. And, nowadays, to be fair, it maybe is budget constraints at the time, can employ proper actors. If he did have, a bigger budget and could remake this could really work, but tighten it down, make it like 45 minutes. Yeah,
it's not, and it's your point, it's not a movie. It's like a good sort of spooky anthology episode or something like that. I mean, like, you couldn't, I suppose, I'm trying to think, like, a movie like that does the same kind of thing, but to a lot better effect as The Woman in Black, the one with Harry Potter in it. It's his own fault. He's always going to be Harry Potter. He can play fucking Al Yankovic and whatever he wants. He's always going to be Harry Potter. But there's no real twist. There's not really a twist in The Woman in Black, although it does have quite a shocking ending. But it's a really, to be fair to Radcliffe, he's good in it. And it's I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a really good sort of spooky fucking ghost story. But it's quite economical. It's a Hammer film. It's like, because Hammer sort of started up again about 12 or 15 years ago. It's a Hammer movie, and it's based on a classic book and a classic play. But it's quite quick. It's like an hour and a half, and it's a good sort of spooky film.
You know what this would be perfect as, and this is something we've mentioned a couple of times, I think, on the Swally, and I wish it was Scottish so we could review it and discuss it. The old Hammer horror film Asylum.
Yeah.
This would be a perfect kind of segment,
kind of vignette
in that.
Yeah. There's loads of those. There's Asylum. There's what's the other one? There's quite a lot of them. There's one, I can't remember what it's called, but there's one, and it's 4 guys on a train. One of the guys is brilliantly Roy Castle. So I'll find it and I'll send you it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's all like stories that they're in, but they're recounting. Again, same sort of conceit, sort of anthology. But yeah, that's where this story would do really well. But I wonder if maybe his eye, like Lawrie Brewster's eyes, have been a bit too big for his belly, in the sense that he's come up with this really good device in the shape of the Owlman, and he's maybe thought to himself, franchise. Do you know what I mean?
Possibly, yeah.
And it's maybe he hasn't been able to get the backing and everything else he's had to do it low budget and get amateur actors and stuff in for it. But I mean, I'd imagine that quite a lot of his budget was probably spent on getting David Schofield, because I can't imagine, you know what I mean? Because like, the rest might have done it for maybe just a share of the box office, but like Schofield, I would imagine, would want a wage out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was filmed over 2 weeks, the entire production, so I wonder if Schofield was probably on set for like 2 days.
He's probably in Skye on holiday, so he was. Just buy him a few pints at the bar if you fucking read these lines and stand about in this costume for a couple of shots. Right, yeah, all right, fair enough. Yeah, so are you going to watch the prequel, The Black Gloves?
No.
No.
Are you? You know, I have an aversion to anything that is kind of like pre-1960 and
pre-1990.
No, I would say 1960. I would say pre. The exceptions for me would be Back to the Future and Indiana Jones. Yeah. Whereas anything that, like, if it's got swords and sandals, get to fuck. I cannot be arsed with it. So, and obviously I'm presuming the prequel doesn't have swords and sandals. I believe it's like 1940s kind of esque, but yeah.
Loafers,
no, I won't be watching. Yeah, I won't be watching it. What about yourself? You gonna give it a view?
I probably will, just out of curiosity. I mean, I might not watch it all, but I might just like watch the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes just to see. Because like with this one, before I chose it, I read that it was low budget, and a sort of alarm bell rang a little bit, and I was like, ooh, don't know if we want to do like something like that. So like on the morning of the day that we recorded our last episode, I watched the first sort of 5 minutes of it, and I thought, oh, well, it seems like reasonably decent production values and stuff like that. But then so like I thought, well, fine, it'll be fine to watch, and it's only like an hour and 20 minutes, whatever. But then obviously when I started watching it properly, and you and Douglas, I realised that he's going to be the one that's going to take us on this journey to Baldarich. And the Owlman and Evie and everything. I was like, oh dear. I hope the story's good.
Well, like I say, when I watched it, I was kind of a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake, what's Greg's pick now? And
what's Greg pick now? Like I pick shite.
Like watching it, and then I was like, okay. And I didn't like it much when I first watched it. However, on reflection, I have thought about it quite a lot over the last week. And that's why I think I'm being quite kind to it and saying, you know what, it's a good premise, it's a good story, it's there, just the execution wasn't right. And to be fair, it's the director's first film. I can see, you know, if he was to revisit this now, I mean, 10 years later, and maybe have a bit more budget, he could make this work, and this could be like a Hollywood blockbuster. Well, not a blockbuster, but you know what, it'd be a low grade kind of American horror film like Wrong Turn or you know, but it could make this work. Good effort, but not that.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, I do like have a lot of respect for people who manage to pull something off like this. Do you know what I mean? Because making a film, you know, like finding the sets, finding people to be in it, finding people to work on it, you know, direction, take up a lot of people's time. It's low budget, so you probably aren't able to pay an awful lot of money and get it out there. I think, you know, I mean, it's commendable. You know, when I think about like sort of low budget films that have landed and become classics for better or worse. I mean, there's the Blair Witch Project is probably the most obvious one, which is fucking next to nothing spent on it pretty much, and just that whole, but it sort of created that found footage sort of movement of horror films like Paranormal Activity and other bits and bobs. But you know, there's not that many like low budget films that have really sort of landed that haven't had people who are either famous or reasonably famous in them, you know?
No, I would agree.
Yeah.
Completely. I mean, this kind of reminded me of, and it's something that we will definitely be doing on the Swally. I don't know in the near future, but we will be doing it, is one-day removals.
Yeah. Well, my friend's in it from school, Scott Ironside.
I know, so that's why. But this kind of one-day removals seems so much more professional than this, almost. But I haven't watched it in a while, so maybe revisiting it, maybe it won't be.
Yeah.
But that kind of.
Well, Scott has said that he's happy to come on to talk about it whenever we decide to do it. So
wonderful. Okay,
get on for it. Maybe our first guest.
We'll need to
second guest.
We'll sort that out. We'll definitely sort that out. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you normally say this, but shall we put Lord of Tears through the Swally Awards?
I think we should, and I don't think it's going to take long.
No, it's not at all.
Okay. So the Bobby the Barman Award for the best pub. No pub, is there?
No pub.
No pub.
No pub.
James Cosmo Award. It's nobody, is there? Nobody. Scottish.
David Schofield was in 3 episodes of Taggart. That's the best I can do.
All right. That's fine. Happy. I like David Schofield. I'm happy to give him an award. Now, for the Jake McQuillan Your Teazoot Award, it's not particularly graphically violent. I have chosen, although you don't see it, Evie losing her head, like literally.
Okay.
Yeah, what did you choose?
Okay.
Did you choose something?
I chose Alan drowning James.
Yeah, okay.
That was the
Hugh McGregor Award for gratuitous nudity. So the nearest thing is Evie doing her little swimming pool dance maybe down the stairs.
Yeah. There's no nudity at all. So that was nothing.
the Francis Begbie Award for gratuitous swearing.
There's not a single swear word in this film at all. It's PG.
It's PG. Oh well. Okay. Archetypal Scottish moment. What did you go for?
What did you go for?
I went for mental mythology because we've got loads of it.
All I had was the Dandy book. That he picks out from his time capsule, and it reminded me of those old kind of Dandy and books that the small size that I used to
come out in the summer, didn't they?
Yeah,
summer special.
But that was kind of all that I picked up on in terms of Scottish.
I really miss I've had a look at because you can get the Beano in my local supermarket, and I had a wee flick through it when I was in the queue one day waiting to pay for my messages, and I was like, it feels like it's kind of trying to be what it was, but it's just, I mean, I guess you're younger, but I mean, the thing is, right, you give me a copy of like the Beano album 1982 right now, I'll happily sit and read it, and that'll be a well spent fucking half an hour in my mind. You know what I mean? I'll love it. I remember my dad gave me I gave it to our mutual friend's son, but one Christmas he gave me like a big thick collection of old Beano and Dandy stories, and I must have sat for about 2 hours on that Christmas day having a couple of beers. I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, I really miss I always preferred the Beano to the Dandy, but I still liked the Dandy.
Yeah,
you know.
I was massively a Beano fan over the Dandy. Yeah,
I used to like the Topper as well. I liked the Numbskulls and the Topper, and I liked the Beezer as well.
Beezer, it was good.
Yeah.
And you like Bunty as well, didn't you?
Bunty. Okay, so our last award then, the Sean Connery Award. Who did you feel won the film?
David Schofield as the Owlman. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
I guess a special mention to Lexi Hume because she won me over, but it's David Schofield. Come on.
He's brilliant. Yeah, he's really good. As I say, I think everybody is contributing something to it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's just a shame that it didn't come out a little bit better. But I don't think that, I think it's more just sort of missed opportunities than anything else. I think there's still a lot to be proud of for everybody there.
I agree with you. Yeah, it does smack of kind of missed opportunities of what could have been. Like I've said a couple of times, the premise is there. I think the idea is great. It just the kind of conception maybe wasn't what it could have been. But I hats off, fair play. Yeah, we haven't made a film. It's he's taken the chance, he's done it, and I think good on him. But it was just lacking a little bit of something.
Yeah, and it's clearly, because the thing is, it's actually been quite well received critically. You know what I mean? A lot of the horror magazines and stuff have been very, very complimentary of it. And also, for anybody who's interested, you can actually go and stay in the house if you want to in Skye.
Oh, wow.
It's Ardgour House, and you can rent it through Sykes Cottages. It's a company that lets out houses in Scotland. So if you want to go and stay there, you can. But yeah, so that was it. That was The Lord of Tears. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. We can stick the link in the description for anybody who wants to see it. We have sort of ruined it a bit, but Well, I'll maybe put a wee post out urging anybody who's keen to see it to watch it before the episode comes out, so we don't ruin it for everybody. But it's your turn to pick for our next episode, so what will we be watching?
I think you are going to be delighted at what I've picked next, Greg, but I think you're also going to be a little bit pissed off because this is very much a Greg choice.
Okay.
And I think I've stolen it from you. Possibly. Okay. I think if you look at our output over the last 6 to 8 episodes, I think people could probably pick, well, Nikki picked that, Greg picked that, Nikki picked that, Greg picked that. This would be a Greg pick. But yeah, I've swiped it from you. So we're going to be heading to the woods on our next episode of The Swally. We're going to have a little day off. And we're going to meet up with our old friends, Peter McDougall, John Morrison, and Billy Connolly, as we look at The Elephant's Graveyard.
Oh, I haven't watched that for years. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wonderful. We'll get some fortified wine chilling in the river before we watch it on the episode. Right, well, thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to follow us on the socials, you can. You can follow us on Instagram at Culture Swally Pod, or you can follow us on Twitter at Swally Pod. And if you want to get in touch with us with anything you would like us to review or anything you've seen in the news that you'd like us to cover, you can email us on cultureswally@gmail.com. And Greg is about to tell you about our wonderful website.
Yep. You can find us at cultureswally.com. There's links to all the episodes, including this one, and some essays about the Crankies, Scottish television, and Scottish horror, where I don't write about the Lord of Tears, but I do mention it.
No, you should maybe do a post about Lord of Tears.
Maybe, yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
As long as I have to watch it again.
Right. Okay, yes, a link to Lord of Tears will be in the podcast description if you would like to watch it. And let us know what you think. Get in touch with us and let us know if you enjoyed Lord of Tears as much as we did. Right, okay, I guess I'll speak to you very shortly, Greg, then. Yeah. All right, okay. Till next time.
Till next time.
It's nice to be out here, though. The house can get quite...
oppressive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was looking through my French book again, and I found another word with no translation. I think it's my new favorite. Retrouvaille. The happiness of meeting again after a long time.
Beautiful.